Welcome to the By Design radio program. My name is Dr. James Proodian of Proodian Healthcare and ProodianHealthcare.com, where health literacy is the key to longevity. And as long as God has us on this side of eternity, my show is designed to help you and your families to feel better, function better, and live as many quality disease-free years as possible. Thanks for joining me this week, and we are in a conversation about change, transformation, and creating real-life expectations of ourselves. And so much of this happens on a daily basis in my office, Natural Healthcare Center, where the goal of patients is generally to make change. So if they're presenting, like many of them do, in pain, they want to make change and get out of pain and to transform their lives, maybe from a nutritional perspective. But so much of this change, transformation, and expectation conversation, as we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, it requires our brain. It requires brain function. And without proper brain function, the rest of the body is not going to follow. So all things happen through our nervous system. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before I dive into the book that we're covering, which is Change Your Brain, Change Your Body, the subject matter that I covered last week, which was on the Fed Up movie that I had gone over with you last week. And Fed Up is a movie that's out right now in selected movie theaters. And you could watch the trailer. You go to the Fed Up or IFM, functionalmedicine.org. And functionalmedicine.org is a great resource to find functional medicine doctors. And last week I went over the 10-day Fed Up challenge with you, which is really focused around how man has put so much sugar into the food, into the diet, and that not only has caused the obesity and the type 2 diabetes epidemics, but so many of the chronic illness epidemics, and also, going back to brain function, how it impedes brain function. And I just wanted to go through, just to continue from last week, as we were talking about sugar, the number of ways in which food manufacturers label sugar. So sugar, can be labeled a number of different ways, such as barley malt, beet sugar, grape sugar, brown rice sugar, brown sugar, cane juice crystals. It could be labeled as corn syrup, corn sweetener, corn syrup solids, high fructose corn syrup, fructose, fruit juice, let's see what else here, grape juice concentrate, honey, invert sugar, malt, maltodextrin, maple sugar, molasses. So you get the gist. There's dozens of ways in which food manufacturers take sugar and masquerade it into the ingredient list. Now, sugar has been, linked to so much of the chronic illness, and the amount of sugar that people are consuming, which is about 150 pounds of table sugar or this type of sugar per person per year in this country. And I think it's important that we all, as we change and transform our diets, look at God's plan, versus man's plan. And that's what it's all about. So the program by design is based upon Luke 1:37, for with God nothing is impossible. If we're going to make change, in this case, we have to be educated. We have to know, for instance, that to make the changes that we're talking about, we need to read labels and avoid those hidden sugars. So as you navigate through your grocery store and look at the hidden sugars that are in food, just be very aware that even in healthy foods, such as, fruited yogurt, granola bars, instant flavored oatmeal, these have 5 to 7 teaspoons of added sugar in them. So ingredients are listed in descending order, with the most abundant ones first. So the nutrition facts on a label could be very, very confusing, as added sugars are not clearly separated out. Read your ingredients. You want to read them in descending orders, and the most abundant ones are up top. So if you see sugar in the variety of names I just gave you in the top 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients, you realize that is a heavily sugared product and sugar added product. Unlike an apple. An apple comes with sugar in it. It's called fructose, and God put it in there, and it is perfectly balanced. Unlike a granola bar, which man put its own sugar in. So the balance of our fruit and our vegetables with respect to sugar is Very, very good. And we're going to get into eating as we go through these shows on brain chemistry and how we should be balancing our brain chemistry. So, and of course, we want to only drink healthy beverages, primarily water, and looking at the fact that our body is made up of about 70% of our body, 60, 70, 80% of our body is water. So, water is essential. Making healthier choices with whole, unprocessed foods, especially for our children, is critical. Okay, so as I now move, we're going to be moving away, but keep sugar in mind. The reason I brought this up to you guys and wanted to cover it is because I don't want to leave the conversation on sugar. It's going to be a very important component as we talk about making change, transformation, and the place we're going to start with that change and transformation is with our brain. And I'm going to give you some facts about the brain today. So from the moment you get out of bed in the morning, okay, your body's brain is functioning. It decides to get you out of bed, what you're going to do. It decides whether or not you're going to push away from the table after you've had a bowl of Rocky Road ice cream. It's going to manage the stress in your life. It's going to relax you. It's going to make you look vibrant. And if left unchecked, that stress, okay, can send signals to the rest of your body. So the brain is talking to every organ, every tissue in your body. Your central nervous system is the first system to form in utero. So in a little baby, when two cells come together and make us, the very first system in utero that God creates is the nervous system. That's brain, spinal cord, and the way it functions. So your brain, guys, is the command and control center of the body. So God created our brain to be the command center. And if you want a better body, meaning that this, generally speaking, making this change, the first place is to start is with looking at a better brain. Now, obviously, you're probably sitting there listening to me like, well, I don't go to the gym. There aren't dumbbell curls I could do for my brain. I could do dumbbell curls for my biceps. And that's exactly what we want to talk about. There are things we could do for our brain. But remember, it's not one prescription fits all. You've heard me speak for many weeks. Bio-individuality means each one of us is designed differently. What works for me may not work for you. My workout is not the same as your workout. The way I eat might not be exactly the way you should be eating based upon your genetic history, how toxic you might be, how your digestive system is working, your age, whether or not you're going through menopause, for instance. So it's not one shoe size fits all, and we have to keep that in mind when we talk about supplementation, which I know so many people are taking medication for mood, such as anxiety and depression, or they're taking an herbal or a supplement. Everybody is different. And when we get into that conversation, we want to be aware of that. Right now, I'm just setting the ground rules. So we have our brain as the central control system. Okay? Central control system means it's figuring things out. And as it's telling the rest of our bodies what to do, each one of our bodies is designed differently. What is right for me is different than what might be right for you. So as we now move through what the principles are with changing your brain and your body, I'm just going to list you the 10 things in this book that he highlights. Your brain is involved in everything you do. Okay, so every single aspect of your life, your brain is involved. Number 2, when your brain works right, your body looks and feels better. When your brain is troubled, you have trouble with how you look and feel. Number 3, the brain is the most complex organ in the universe. Let me repeat number 3. The brain is the most complex organ in the universe. Respect it. Number 4, your brain is very soft and housed in a really hard skull. Protect it. Number 5, the brain has only so much reserve. The more reserve you have, the healthier you are. The less reserve you have, the more vulnerable you are. Number 6, specific parts of your brain are involved in certain behaviors. Trouble in specific parts of your brain tends to cause certain behavior problems. So understanding your brain can help you optimize it. Number 7, many things hurt the brain and make it harder for you to get the body you always wanted. Many things help the brain and make it easier to get and keep the body you love. Number 8, brain imaging gives great insight into the healing the brain and can help you your overall health. Number 9, one prescription does not work for everyone. We are unique and we need to understand our own personal brain function. And number 10, yes, you can change your brain, which indirectly or directly changes your body. So as we look at these 10 principles, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but number 3 caught my eye, which is the brain is the most complex organ in the universe. It is complicated, amazing. It's the most special thing literally in the universe. This thing weighs 3 pounds. This 3-pound God-designed structure is more powerful than any sophisticated supercomputer. Even though it represents only about 2% of your body's weight, your brain uses about 25% of the calories you consume, 25% of the total blood flow in your body, and 20% of the oxygen you breathe. So this structure that is only 2% of your body requires 25% of the calories, 25% of the total blood, and 25% of the oxygen. The calories, blood flow, and oxygen they actually feed the cells inside the brain. It is estimated that the brain contains more than 100 billion nerve cells. Guys, that's the number of stars in our Milky Way in this 3-pound structure. Each nerve cell is connected to another nerve cell by thousands of individual connections. This is the anatomy and physiology that God designed and basically put between our ears. The structure of the human brain and how it works is absolutely the greatest miracle on our planet. Human life doesn't exist without a functioning brain. So here is this complex structure. Highly complex. You guys probably don't think about it a lot. And it's self-regulating. It needs to be fed. And it needs to be protected. So principle number 4, which was your brain is very soft. And we need to protect it. It's composed of about 80% water. Its consistency is similar to like soft butter or like tofu. And it basically is a structure that is generally soft, and it's got this hard skull wrapped around it. Your brain was not meant, I hate to say this to you guys, but to play repetitive tackle football or to be an ultimate fighting guy or gal. The brain trauma is much more common than you think. Brain injuries not only damage your brain, they could ruin your body. So repetitive brain injuries are right now at the forefront of professional sports and youth sports, as many of us parents know. So we need to protect this bugger, okay? Remember, God gave it to us. It's our job to protect it. Now, another principle, specific parts of your brain are involved in certain behaviors. So behaviors are a really important thing, and this is really like clinical stuff. Maybe you've heard of the cortex, which is responsible for judgment, forethought, planning, and impulse control. Or maybe you've heard of the temporal lobes, which are responsible for memory, mood stability, and temper issues. So there are various parts anatomically of the brain that do specific things. The next function, the next principle, many things can hurt the brain. Okay, we want to keep, in order to create the body you want, you have to protect yourself from physical trauma, drugs, alcohol, obesity, hormone abnormalities, chronic inflammation in the body. Where have you heard these before, guys? You're by design listeners. You know these are the things I speak about every week. Low blood flow, chronic stress, sleep deprivation, smoking, too much caffeine. All of these things are going to rob your brain. It's going to make your brain harder to function. We're basically if you wanted to run a 100-yard dash or running a 100-yard dash in water. Okay, we don't want to inhibit our brain. We don't want to allow it to function at its capacity. Too much TV, violent video games, dehydration is horrible for your brain. Lack of exercise, negative thinking, excessive texting and social networking on the internet. We need to protect this bugger. We need to eat a good diet, a diet that includes lean protein, fruits and vegetables, nuts, healthy fats like olive oil and fish oil. These are wonderful things. And when I say fruits and vegetables, guys, I'm talking like 9 to 12 servings a day. That's the way God designed us. If we're going to take multivitamins, multimineral, and fish oil are exceptional ideas, you want to just make sure you buy good quality supplements. Get enough sleep. You want to pray. One of the healthiest things you could do for your brain is to pray. Relax. You really practice gratitude. Balance your hormones. And if you are dealing with any type of mental disorder, you obviously want to be under clinical care. So we're going to stop there. And as we take the book apart, we're going to understand that our cravings, our body, our design is predicated on this 3-pound structure in between our ears called the brain, the greatest creation in the universe. And we need a personal brain management program. So thank you for listening to me, Dr. James Proodian, this week on the By Design radio program. Please go to ProodianHealthcare.com and submit a question if you have any questions for me for the show. Have a blessed week, and let's all do something good for our brains this week. God bless.